My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at realnews.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Residents of Adu are unhappy with parliamentary report which is giving mining firm Electrochem the green light to continue with its salt mining at the Songo Lagoon. Also coming up, government confidence CTAC strike will be called off as leadership of the union meets with its national council. Much later, government certified textbooks still unavailable for basic school pupils 4 years after implementation of new curriculum. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, students of colleges of education will know their fate regarding the ongoing strike by their tutors as the National Council of the Colleges of Teachers Association of Ghana convenes an emergency meeting today to deliberate on the way forward after meeting with government academic activities, after meeting with the government. Now, remember that academic activities across all the 46 public colleges of education in the country have been at a standstill for the past 1 month. The members of the Colleges Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAC, declared a strike on June 14 to demand the implementation of the arbitral award on negotiated conditions of service, among other demands. Several calls on CTAC to call off the strike, including an order by the National Labour Commission, have not been heeded. Last night, the government, represented by the Education, Finance and Employment Ministries, met the leadership of the striking tutors in an attempt to convince them to return to the classroom. This followed the decision by CTAC to withdraw all services with immediate effect after the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission issued a directive for the controller to seize July salaries for CTAC members. Well, the Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum, told the media that significant progress has been made so far.
Discussions today with CTAC, we've made great progress, and I'm very happy to report to you that we've made great progress. And very soon you'll hear from us.
The progress, is it that the strike has been called off, or what progress are you talking about?
We've made giant strides, and I'm happy about the discussion we've had today. All that I will say is that we've made great progress.
Now, despite this great progress the Education Minister talks about, CTAC President Prince Obenhima says a final decision on the way forward will be communicated after a National Council meeting.
You know, as a union, the right to call strike and then to declare strike over rests with council. And we are not council. So I think even if I stood here and said the strike is declared over, it will be of no effect. We are confident that the engagement we are pursuing will yield something positive. So we can tell the students to keep their fingers crossed, and if we're able to, have the conversation with our people, and then we come back to the stakeholders, the employer, and then we reach consensus. From tomorrow, we will start earnest engagement with our members, that is the council. And by the close of tomorrow, by the close of the following day, we should have some consensus, and we'll be able to communicate to you. And that will define the definition of soon.
That was CTAC President Prince Obenhima. Now, whilst the student awaits the outcome of this meeting, the president of the Teacher Trainees Association, Abdul Razak Swale, laments the negative impact of the strike on them.
Activities that are supposed to go on as planned with the academic calendar have actually come to a halt. Security-wise, students that were expected to stay on campus and not roam about because of this strike, they've also gotten the liberty to leave campus and then do other things that are not supposed to be done. Then also, our examination timelines are equally being tempered with level 400, which are currently staying outside campus because of the new policy direction by the Ministry of Education, that is in, out, which mandates that level 100, level 200, level 300 to stay in the colleges, whilst level 400 stay outside the campus and commute to the various colleges for academic activities. They've committed themselves to rental agreements and then paying utility, taking care of themselves, yet still academic work is not ongoing because their tutors, that is our tutors, have refused to supervise their works and also take them through the various academic activities they are supposed to have. By and large, the strike has come to affect us greatly.
You heard the president of the Teacher Trainees Association, Abdul Razak Swale, and shortly we'll be going across the country to bring you the real impact of the strike on them on their various campuses. But ahead of that, basic school pupils are still having to cope with the lack of government certified textbooks 4 years after the introduction of the new curriculum, with no positive word from the government as to when the textbooks will be provided. Students are still struggling for materials to study. Judith Brown has more in this report.
They are the future of this nation, or so we say. Yet, the necessary investments needed to fund their education keep reducing by the day.
It is like there's nothing called capitation grant again, because it doesn't come.
In 2019, the government announced a new curriculum for pupils between kindergarten and primary 6.
The subject area curricula has been duly launched.
The announcement, which sparked heated public debates, raised a myriad of concerns. One of these concerns lingers 4 years on. It's a Monday morning here at the St. Kizito Primary School, and as usual, teaching and learning have already begun. But one thing seems lacking: textbooks. 4 years and counting, and still no word from government as to when textbooks will be provided. While the Education Minister has time and again admitted to the relevance of the textbooks in effectively implementing the new curriculum, it seems the political will to execute this has been in limbo.
It's an integral part of the teaching and learning process, yet rarely available for most students in public schools. 4 to 5 students are having to learn from just one textbook. And even this textbook was bought by students themselves or even their parents. And so really, how are these students coping?
We engaged some public basic school pupils who sat for the Basic Education Certificate examinations, and they confirmed the difficulties experienced as a result of the lack of textbooks.
Our teachers sometimes give us their phones to learn on it, or sometimes we go to the lab and go and learn on the computer. You can't learn without the textbook. Some of the teachers share the textbook for us so that we go and learn at home.
And you heard Judith Brown's report. We'll bring you some analysis, a quick analysis on this very shortly, but you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM. Still here on the Midday News on 3FM. Thank you for staying. Let's bring Dr. Peter Ante. He is the Executive Director of iFirst, an education institution think tank. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
I'm just wondering whether your group is concerned about the fact that it's been 4 years and it doesn't look like these pupils are going to have their textbooks.
I think the issue with textbooks have always been a challenging one for us. We witnessed the same challenge when we implemented the standard-based curriculum at the basic level. I think one of the things that the ministry learned from that exercise was that instead of doing only what we call the teacher manual, they went ahead to do also what we call the learner manual. And that was an improvement over the previous experience that we had, where the only document that accompanied the curriculum was the teacher manual. So we will continue to have some of these challenges, especially with textbooks, because the textbooks are always coming from the publishers upon the approval of NACA. So those challenges would be there. I think the best way to deal with it is to always develop other additional materials alongside the teacher manual, so that learners would have some kind of reference materials to refer to or to use while the textbooks are being worked on.
What do you expect institutions, even Parliament Education Committee, for instance, to do to resolve this problem?
The first thing that needs to be done, and this I'm going to be frank, I think that NACA should be resourced enough to also embark on the development of the textbook. Ideally, NACA is mandated to do the curriculum. So if it is resourced enough, what they can do is to develop the textbooks alongside the development of the curriculum. But what this also means is that you are taking a section of the Ghanaian companies out, in terms of, the publishers out of business. So it's always a tight rope to navigate or deal with, and the best would be to maybe have a substantial amount of resources to enable NACA develop these additional reference materials whilst the publishers work on the comprehensive textbooks that they've been doing.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. And that was Dr. Peter Ante. He's the Executive Director of IFEST, an education think tank. Let's return to our first story about the CTAC strike, and Grace Hamajiman is monitoring the situation for us in Accra. She joins us live now. Grace, what can you report from where you are?
Yes, Beatrice. So the students have engaged with so far tell me that the recent announcement by their teachers to withdraw all other services, they will describe it as adding salt to injury, because we know it's been 41 days since the strike, and some of the teachers were meeting them once in a week or twice in a week or around any comfortable time that was okay for both the teacher and the student. But with the current announcement of the total withdrawal of the services, students say it is like adding salt to injury. They are devastated. They don't know what to do, and they are pleading and appealing to government to resolve whatever the situation or the challenge is, so that their lecturers can come to school. Another thing that is coming to play today is the fact that students tell me they do not want an extension in the academic calendar. Ordinarily or originally, they were supposed to vacate on September 7th. But because of the strike, they tell me that they rather want an extension in their credit hours, so that if, for instance, they were supposed to have lectures for 5 hours in a day, they want like 8 hours or 9 hours, because an extension in the academic calendar, especially for the level 400, will mean that you have to pay more for rent, because according to the school regulations, when you are in 400, you move out of campus. And so you are doing in, and then level 400 is out. If they have to extend the academic calendar, it means they have to pay more, cough out money for rent, which obviously they do not have. And so if government and the lecturers are coming back to the classroom, they want an extension in the credit or academic hours, but not an extension in the academic calendar.
Beyond what they told you, Grace, I mean, you've been there. Just paint a picture for us, the kind of environment you encountered when you're still there.
When you enter the Accra College of Education, what greets you is silence or some form of heaviness. Because, there are students working on campus, but there's no activity. You see them working in groups of like 2 or 3 who are going to do their own personal academic studies. All lecture halls, almost every lecture hall is shut, and so the students are sitting under the trees on their campus, and it's very worrying. just a picture there gives you some form of devastation or some form of heaviness on the campus.
Thank you very much, Grace Hamajuman, monitoring events for us on the campus of colleges of education right here in Accra. Now, a joint parliamentary committee says there is no factual or legal basis to enable the government seek to interfere with the 3 mining leases granted to Electrochem Ghana Limited. Parliament in November 2020 ratified the mining agreement empowering the company to undertake salt mining in the Ada Songo Salt Lagoon for the next 15 years. Residents have resisted the project, resulting in protests, attacks, and the death of a community leader. A joint parliamentary committee was tasked to look into the matter. We have a copy of the committee's report, and let's focus on the recommendations by the committee. I'll just run you through a few of them. It said, but before that, the background, it said November 2020, Parliament ratified the 3 mining leases, like I just told you. Mining area, Ada Songo Lagoon. Duration, like I just said, 15 years. Electrochem investment, already $88 million. Now, these are the recommendations from this joint committee. No legal or factual basis to review and or tinker with leases granted Electrochem. Now, Electrochem should consider continuing with the allocation of some space to local miners. This should be undertaken according to environmental laws. Now, continuous stakeholder engagement. Also, political pundits should desist from making political capital out of use of national asset. Police should investigate death of Numo Kolote, who was killed in November 2023. We'll be going to Parliament very shortly to get the details or some more from the House, but we're joined by the Member of Parliament for Sege, Christian Otuteye. He joins us live on Otute. He joins us live on the phone. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope I did not butcher your name.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam, and how are you? And the name is Christian Otute.
Otute. Thank you.
Otute.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Let me first get your concerns, or really your view about this. We already seem to be getting indications from you that you're not too satisfied with what has transpired so far.
You are very right. I'm not at all satisfied with the report being ready for laying today, which, if I have the means, I'll block it totally to be laid, not even to come to the floor. Because one of the clear reasons are...
Sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
One of the clear reasons are all key stakeholders were asked to submit papers on their concerns, which I did. In their referral or their references, they did not even make use. You can see that my name was missing there. That means they didn't take in my input. A key member as the MP. 2, there are issues of compensation. People bought salt 2-3 years ago before this company came, and he agreed that he will compensate them. So, because if he comes in with all liability and everything. Now, till now, they have not settled or compensated some of these people who are small business women who use all their money to buy salt, and they are hoping that Electrochem will refund or supply them. The idea was to give them their salt. Till now, they have not. And you can imagine a businesswoman, a small-scale businesswoman who buys maybe 20,000 or 50,000 salt for 3 years, that all the money is locked there and it's not refunded. How would the person exist from 3 years ago? The committee did not highlight on this compensation. They talk about compensation of those that have been killed and others, which I agree. But these key people who need to continue with their businesses in order to help people to live with their family better, they haven't been able to even talk about it, which is a very much concern to people. One of them too is, okay, if you want to come in. One of them too is the people's concern is about more or less the vast area being given to one investor. They are not against the investment. For myself not being okay with the report doesn't mean I'm against the company. I'm not against the company. But the hasty manner in which the company has done this is what I'm condemning.
So the hasty manner, you say, and then you also talk about compensation, and then you're talking about one company having a vast land to do this.
Yes, then there's going to be a total monopoly, and also there will not be competition. The place is so vast that we can put 3 different companies or 2, 3. Another major point where I will not allow this report to come even to the floor is this committee is supposed to visit the site, interact with the people, and see everything for themselves. They never visited the site.
Okay, so
they met just 2 times. Just 2 times. They are afraid to go to the site. They may have to bring these whole people from Adan here to Parliament, which is fine. One time, the other time, they could have gone there. The committee did not do that.
You're saying you block this, so meaning that it's not even come to the place of laying it, and you're determined to ensure it is not laid.
They want to do so, but I don't want it to come that far until we go back to do a thorough work which will bring peace. Sister, let it be clear on record that Christian Tute, the FP, is not against the investment. But I'm for it in a proper manner.
Let me ask you ask you my final question before you go. You said this is being done in a hasty manner, but if we look at this report or the information we have, it was in November 2020 Parliament ratified this. So that's about 3 years. 4 years? Do you say that is still hasty?
It's less than 2 weeks. They never start. We actually met the people in less 2 weeks. They engaged the people in 2 times, made the MP one. The second meeting, madam, they called me a night before that the committee is meeting. By this time, I was in Koforidua on another assignment. The second meeting, as MP, they only called me on phone the night before that the committee is meeting the second time. So they made the people just 2 times. If there's enough time, they should visit the site. They want to say that after laying and submitting this and giving the company go ahead before they will go to the site. But this time, if you have gone to see things by yourself and you feel things must not go this way, what will you do? A committee which is one of their references to go and visit the site, never visit, and now want to go after they have laid this thing. Is it fair? Madam, these are some of the ways if you look at the duration, it's quite a long time, but they have not been engaging the people from that time. They just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that they started active work.
All right, we'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. And you heard that the Member of Parliament for Sege, Christian Otute. Thank you for speaking to us. Now, the Electoral Commission, we understand, is having an IPAC meeting this afternoon. We understand that this is part of the meetings the Commission needs to have ahead of this year's crucial general election. Top on the agenda is how the Electoral Commission's intend to conduct a mop-up voter registration exercise and also some issues that are associated with it. We'll be bringing you some details as and when we have it. You're still here on the Midday News on Shri FM. Thank you for staying on. Government push to introduce paternity leave by end of year is receiving some support and, of course, some criticism. Finance Minister Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam joined the media budget review presentation, said the policy will enable men offer assistance to their wives. Evelyn Tengma has more.
The Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, said government, in collaboration with its social partners, has developed a draft Labour Bill 2024 aimed at strengthening labour administration and regulating the world of work. Among the key reforms proposed are the introduction of paternity leave and the extension of maternity leave, which he said are expected to be promulgated before the end of 2024. In the bill, male workers will be eligible to apply for 5 days of paternity leave within 3 months of their wives' or surrogates' childbirth or following the adoption of a child under 1 year old. Maternity leave in the draft bill, he says, has been increased from 14 weeks to 16 weeks. But Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, who is already championing a bill on paternity leave, is skeptical about government's commitment to ensuring passage of the bill.
Bill are introduced on extension of maternity leave and then the introduction of paternity leave have reached advanced stage. The final drafts are ready and they are actually on the way to be gazetted. If government really has any shame at all and has any modicum of respect for the people of Ghana, they should rather be saying that, oh, we support this bill brought by this honorable member and that we are going to do everything possible to ensure that the bill gets passed. And this bill, once passed, I'm going to assent to it before I leave office. That would be what we should be hearing from the president. But just coming to Parliament and just announcing again that, oh, we will be we'll be extending maternity leave when you have few days to leave office. For me, I don't think that shows any commitment and any sense of urgency and seriousness, any sense of respect even towards the people of Ghana.
And that report was filed by Evelyn Tingma. Let's bring you a statement coming from the office of the Special Prosecutor released just some minutes ago, and that's in response to that petition sent by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue Samuel Okujeto Ablaka. I'll just read it to you. It says, in re-petition for the investigation of Kenoforia Takwekwajiman Menu and Service Ghana Auto Group Limited over procurement breaches, inflation of invoices and corruption-related offences. And the OSP says, we acknowledge receipt of a filed complaint as titled above. The Special Prosecutor will direct the commencement of an investigation if he determines that the matter is within the mandate of the Office for the Special Prosecutor. You may be contacted for further assistance should the need arise. Please accept the compliment of my highest consideration. So that's just the OSP there, actually accepting or responding to that petition filed by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. And that's how we end the news here on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Good afternoon.
Radio Development Show Host of the Year 2016-2017.
And the winner is John Hughes. Check.
Hi, my name is Johnny Hughes, your community rights advocate, and I'm still on the quest to bring smiles into your communities with Community Connect on 3FM 92.7. Join me this and every Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on 3FM, and together we will solve the problems bothering your communities.
I know your program is a program that always get a result. Myself, I'm a witness to that.
What can we do to help your community today in terms of education, health, sanitation, security, and all the issues in between from your community's perspective? Tune in to Community Connect every Friday morning at 9 a.m. as we get interactive live on radio and on Twitter at 3FM 927 and on Facebook at 3FM 92.7. Community Connect, helping solve your community problems.
Hey, ready to make your drive home epic? It's the 3FM Drive with the one and only Giovanni Killen right here on 3FM 92.7. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're transforming your commute into a top-tier experience. Need a pick-me-up? Our music belt is pure energy, pure vibes. Stay ahead with the Drive Sports, bringing you the latest scores and highlights. Curious about the stars? We've got all the hottest trends events, celebrity profile interviews, plus DJ faculty has got you.
Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays on 3FM Drive. You know where it's at.
This is where the action is at, live on the 3FM Drive on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to the 3FM Drive. That's right!
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, Association of Cocoa Farmers alarmed over World Bank report revealing Ghana is likely to produce under 500,000 metric tons of cocoa in 2024. We'll speak to the president of the association live on the bulletin later. Also, energy expert cautions government not to fall into trap of incurring more debt in energy sector following fiscal space provided by restructuring of sector's debt.
Debt restructuring doesn't mean debt forgiveness. We have to get that clear. We may be tempted to enter into new debts or put ourselves into fiscal recklessness. That shouldn't be the case.
Plus, as European Union market tightens its trade rules, National After Coordination Office urges Ghanaian businesses to turn focus to African markets.
If Europe has raised a concern or they are increasing their standard requirements and all of that, it shouldn't negate Ghanaian business to also look within Africa.
I am Michael Ogbodu. I bring you details of our top stories and more shortly. Please stay. Well, thank you so much for your time, and straight into our top story. Cocoa production will not exceed 500,000 metric tons in 2023-2024 crop season due to the swollen shoot disease. The World Bank has disclosed in its 8th Ghana Economic Update. In the 2023-2024 crop season, cocoa production fell to around 670,000 tons last season. The World Bank said the price surge from $2.39 per kilogram in 2022 is a record high of $5.56 per kilogram in February 2024. The rollover of the pre-sale contracts for the plummet unmet volume over the past 2 seasons makes it challenging for Cocoa Board to pre-sell production for future seasons. Joining us via phone is the president of the Cocoa Farmers Association, Mr. Anani Boateng, for his reaction on this quite concerning development. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for your time. First off, for you as cocoa farmers, what do you make of this development?
Good afternoon, and to my listeners and everybody watching. NACOFA, I'm Anani Boateng speaking. NACOFA, Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association, representing smallholder cocoa farmers in Ghana. In fact, it has been a problem for us for this reduction of cocoa production in the country. In fact, now the decline of the cocoa production has been a big problem for the nation, and it's not anything than the overlook of and the mercy of the small cocoa, galamsey practice in the country, which the leaders are overlooking it. This has caused a serious threat to the cocoa farmers.
Hello.
There is unfair treatment of we smallholder cocoa farmers in the country because looking at the situation now, cocoa farmers in the country are the key players in the cocoa industry. But the way they treat us is unfair, and it is enforcing some of we, the young ones among us, to join the galamsey operation. And it is the issue. So if we don't take proper caution on it, it's going to affect the system so much that cocoa
for the next 5 years, the cocoa will be seriously being serious dilemma.
Thank you so much, Nana, for your time. That was Anani Boateng. He is the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. Pretty concerned with the numbers coming from the World Bank about Ghana unlikely to produce 500,000 metric tons in this year's cocoa season. But away from that, energy expert Dr. Yusuf Sulemana has cautioned government not to fall into the trap of incurring more debt in the energy sector following the fiscal space provided by the debt restructuring exercise with some independent power producers, IPP. Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam announced the successful conclusion of negotiations with 5 of the country's 7 IPPs, yielding an estimated $6.6 billion in savings over the lifetime of the power purchase agreement.
It offers a reduction in cumulative debt risk or a reduced debt risk in terms of the total debt portfolio that a nation has, and also gives the nation a positive outlook in terms of their debt portfolio. And this is also one of the prerequisites for the IMF tranche payments to be done. So that's a positive thing. We have to actually always go and look at the root causes of these debts. Why have they been accumulated up to this stage, where we have to be able to cover this so much money, where we have a requirement to be able to pay this huge amount of money within the shortest possible time.
You heard the energy expert Dr. Yusuf Sulemana speaking. Now, the National African Continental Free Trade Area After Coordination Office is advocating for Ghanaian businesses to focus more on intra-Africa trade. This comes in response to stricter standards and restrictions from the European market. Programs Manager for Enterprise Support and Trade in Finance at the National After Coordination Office, Divine Kutoche, has been speaking to 3 Business.
Standards are put in place to protect the safety of the citizens of a country. And so countries are at liberty to enhance their standard requirements and all of that. But if Europe has raised a concern or they are increasing their standard requirements and all of that, it shouldn't negate Ghanaian business to also look within Africa. If AFCFTA should be able to work successfully, it will be at least 8th or 7th largest economy in the world. It also provides a huge market for us. So our focus is how we can look even within. And that has been the challenge because the system to look within is not favorable. That's why we look outside. We are not stopping anybody from saying you should go outside. I don't think that should be the strategy. The strategy should be how can we also look within? How can we promote intra-African trade for coffee? We have Africans who consume coffee and we have the raw materials to produce coffee. So let's also look within. Let's maybe put in place standard measures to also ensure that what we are trading in is also of high standard and value.
Program Manager for Enterprise Support and Trade in Finance at the National After Coordination Office, Divine Kutoche, speaking. Now, in a bid to bridge the energy gap for industries and promote the green energy drive in the country, a 16.8 megawatt solar project has been launched at the Tema Free Zones Enclave to bridge in that regard. Now, the $17 million project aims to provide affordable, cleaner energy for industries to enhance their productivity. Herbert Krapper is Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, and he was at the event.
The power of financing in helping to achieve renewable energy projects. Africa has an abundance of sunshine, and also we have significant wind speed. We have hydro resources, but there is more solar installation in Europe than there is in Africa, and the missing piece is financing. By this project, IFC shows us that partnering with the right entity, financing should not be too much of a problem in building renewable energy projects in Ghana and in Africa as a whole. And when we speak to financing, we're talking really about access and the cost.
So that was Herbert Krapa, his Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Ogbodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend with Black Rasta and he's on standby. Have a good day.